It's a type of video that I really do not want to make, that I never want to make. Unfortunately, I had to make them in the past. I hope every time that I never have to make them again. And the reason why I'm making them, because by now having almost 750,000 subscribers and me starting the YouTube channel about telling you about the life at the Nürburgring and not just doing onboards, what I'm doing nowadays, I have to also tell you about things that happen here when they're not as fun as usual fun stuff that we're doing. And some of you really share that opinion, even to the extreme, I would say, because yesterday, for example, when the news came out that 2 people died here at the Nürburgring, people already messaged me like, how could you post a fun onboard? Why, like, don't you have any conscience? Well, because in the first place I don't know what to say, but there are actually a couple of reasons why I am making this video even now. There are a couple of things that I want to say. There are a couple of reasons that I'm making this video. First of all, because a lot of things are being said that are simply not true, that are, even I this morning, the circumstances of the accident have been changing. There are lots of people seeking drama, attention, sensation, trying to be a part of it, trying to figure out what happened, although that's absolutely none of their business. So first of all, I'm going to get rid of all the, drama for the sake of the involved, and not only the ones who died, but also companies involved, I would say. Let me tell you how it happened from my point of view. Yesterday, shortly after 3 o'clock, I was standing on my balcony together with Maggie, my fiance, and then I heard, and then, jokingly, I have to admit, I said another, and that's also what happened, boom. And then jokingly I said another, boom. And that's also what happened, boom. There were 4 impacts, and why I said it jokingly to Maggie, because unfortunately this is something that happens once a year, twice a year, because we're talking here about the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and during industry pool, when this accident happened, manufacturers and drivers test sometimes, well, go to the limit, over the limit. Sometimes they test various systems to make sure that they would work on a public road. Sometimes they're like, would ABS or ESC still kick in if we're gonna do 300 kilometers per hour? Or sometimes things simply fail. And sometimes it happens that they lose control or something fails and the car crashes. And then you would hear, the car goes pinballing. And something that also happened to me once. That's why I stopped instructing 3 or 4 years ago. The only difference now is that there was no, it was just impact, 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 impact. The reason for that is because, according to the official statements and what we saw later, the car went over debris, over a broken part, punctured its tire, blew up the tire, lost control, and instead of hitting the barrier, it went in the air and started rotating, and boom, boom, without tires squealing. Due to the rotation, something that you can also read from the newspapers, both the passenger and the driver got launched out of the car. The impact forces were this high that they got launched out of the car, and according to the newspapers, they also lost their lives immediately on the scene, or shortly after. The speeds that we're doing here, we're here standing at Tiergarten. The car that was in question can reach 300, maybe over 300. They probably were doing also that. By the time of impact or rotation, they were doing slightly above 200. And yeah, what else what I want to say is that after hearing that, we grabbed our dogs because we had to walk them anyway, went to the scene here, got relatively close to it, and it took us less than 5 minutes to get here, and there were already emergency personnel, people from the ambulance already helping people. The reason for that, because other industry pool drivers already immediately notified the emergency people on the radio, saying that there are people on the track already lying. So the ambulance came immediately, within 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, from T13 and also the emergency center at the GP track. That's where their location is usually at, and started to help people. Now, one of them, I don't know who it was, it doesn't really even matter, it was already too late to help. The other one, they tried to reanimate. In less than 10 minutes that we arrived, trauma helicopter already came in, and Maggie and I, we were actually quite happy, thinking like, okay, helicopter is here, they're gonna take him to the hospital, it's going to be alright. The only thing, however, is that helicopter switched off its engines. That's not what usually happens. The emergency personnel were giving the driver or the passenger or both, because we could only see one, CPR for almost half an hour. They were trying to revive him for over half an hour, until eventually police came with the white cloth, and that was the end of it. What happened afterwards, Nürburgring announced that there are obviously not going to be any public sessions taking place, and after that lots of really unpleasant comments came in, like people saying like, oh, how are you announcing last moment an hour before closure time? I planned my holiday trip around it, or I took a half day off work to come here, now because of you it was all for nothing. To those people I want to say I'm very sorry that you had to drive for nothing, or your holiday for nothing, and now you have to drive back home for nothing. But you have to realize that someone's father, someone's husband is not going to come back home at all. It's something that you may not think of when you're coming here for the first time, but unfortunately the history is telling us that when these closures like that happen last moment, something really horrible has happened and is there to justify the closure of the track. For further details, when we were walking our dogs at night later, 9:30, so close to 10 o'clock, we saw the car being still recovered. So all the investigation people were still there more than 6 hours after the accident. What else do I want to say? Why am I saying this? Yeah, so I said why I want to take away all the speculations, what actually has happened. I want to people be a bit more considerate when they start throwing accusations online. Although we're talking about something small, but I kind of imagine, I don't know, people involved here at the Nürburgring trying to revive someone dying, and then going online and reading people complaining about, oh, the track is not open because, let alone someone's relative. The third thing is the most important one why I'm making this video, is things like that happened in controlled environment with the latest state-of-the-art safety equipment and everything in the environment during industry pool, because prototypes are being tested here in an environment where people expect the worst outcome, and the worst outcome still happened. And you see on my channel quite often stupid things happen. People come here with stock brakes, even worse. There's a lot of things that you don't even see that I'm not posting when people come here. Do you want to drive my car? Now look at it, like, bro, it's plus 35, you're on winter tires. Are you a retard? Like, you shouldn't be driving on the public roads, let alone on the racetrack. Things like that happen. I just don't show them because, well, I don't want to publicly shame them, and because there's there is no content. There are even worse things like that happen. What I want to say is, please make sure your car is in the right condition. If something is off, we have now here at T13 an emergency area or a rest area that Nürburgring introduced since last week, something I still need to make a video on, that make use of it. If you're coming on here on the straight and something feels not right, get off and make sure everything is okay, because things can go wrong very badly, and they went here very badly because people didn't expect them. They happen when you least expect them, because if you expect an accident, it's not gonna happen, because everyone is going to be then the best driver ever. They happen when you least expect them. finally, so of course, yeah, be considerate, be careful. Usually, or not usually, I mean, the last two times that someone died here at the Nürburgring, I would either forward the fundraiser made by family and friends of someone who died, or make one ourselves, or not make one, but like donate to one. At this point, there is none that I know of. I don't want to make one myself because I'm sure if there's one going to be happen, I will of course share it with you guys to donate one. But unlike the previous cases, I would say the people involved, it doesn't justify it, but people involved are working for two very big, or related to very big companies. I'm sincerely hope at least that the companies will take care of them. And if not, we can still always make a fundraiser, of course. But also at the same time, when something like that happens, it happened slightly more than 24 hours ago. People involved in that, their colleagues, their friends, their families, they have something else right now on their mind than having public attention of fundraisers and whatnot. So let's give them time to rest, time to mourn. And that's all there is that I want to say. Next time you are driving the track yourself, make sure your car is up to spec. When you're driving here towards Tiergarten, passing the Antonius Bridge or the Bilstein Bridge, slow down a bit. Maybe turn your hazard light for a bit, maybe flash a bit. Don't cause confusing situation for traffic around you, but I don't know, pay some form of respect, because these two people, one professional race car driver from Luxembourg, his name was Christian Frank, that I read in the newspaper today. I didn't know him personally, but many knew. And an engineer who I don't know of. They gave their life to make your and my hobby, such as driving the track or driving the road, more safe, because that's what they were doing, and to make all the cars that we enjoy seeing go faster on the track, make it possible. So let that sacrifice not be for nothing. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. I don't know what else I want to say. There's one, I think, final thing that I wanted to mention, but it's not necessarily worth mentioning, is that when the accident happened, immediately, I said already, like, that other industry pool drivers notified the emergency personnel over radio, and one of the people that I know actually was there to administer CPR. So help was there instantly, but there was nothing that could have been done. It was just too extreme. And again, I want to wish the family and everyone who's left behind, and also all the colleagues from those drivers and engineers, direct colleagues, indirect colleagues, because I know everyone here at the Nürburgring right now is shaken up, all the industry pool drivers. Yeah, so stay safe out there, and I hope that we won't have to make those videos anymore, but that is the least of my worries.